Picture this. You're driving through a neighborhood filled with mansions. Luxury cars in the driveway, giant swimming pools, manicured lawns. You think to yourself, wow, these people must be millionaires. But here's the shocking truth. Many of them aren't millionaires at all. In fact, some of them are broke, drowning in debt, just trying to keep up the appearance of being rich. Now, shift your eyes to another neighborhood. A quiet, modest street. No flashy cars, no giant homes. Just ordinary-looking families. Inside one of those houses lives a man worth $5 million. No one would ever guess, because he doesn't look rich. That's the secret Thomas J. Stanley uncovered in his groundbreaking book The Millionaire Next Door. Today, I'm going to take you on a journey through this book, not in a dry, academic way, but as a story. The story of real millionaires. What they do, how they live, and how you can learn from them to build your own path to financial freedom. So sit back, because this might just change the way you look at money forever. From Hollywood movies to Instagram influencers, society paints a picture of wealth that's flashy, glamorous, and loud. The Lamborghini, the designer clothes, the luxury vacations. But here's the question. If all those people are rich, why do we constantly hear stories of athletes going broke? Celebrities filing for bankruptcy? Doctors making $400,000 a year but living paycheck to paycheck? The answer is simple. Backhand index pointing right. Looking rich and being rich are two completely different things. And this is where most of us get it wrong. We think wealth is about what we can see. But the truth? Real wealth is often invisible. It's in investments, savings accounts, assets, not in the flashy things that depreciate. Stanley wanted to test this idea. So he spent decades researching real millionaires in America. And what he found would shock the world. Back in the 1990s, Thomas J. Stanley and William Danko wanted to understand how wealthy Americans really lived. So they didn't just look at statistics, they went directly to the source. They interviewed and surveyed hundreds of millionaires. But at first, they hit a problem. When they reached out to people living in fancy neighborhoods, expecting to find wealth, they often discovered the opposite. High incomes, but also high debt. Huge mortgages. Car loans, credit card balances. It was a lifestyle of showing off, not building wealth. The real millionaires were harder to find because they blended in. They lived in ordinary neighborhoods. They drove ordinary cars. They didn't want to be seen. And that's when Stanley coined the phrase, backhand index pointing right, the millionaire next door. Because chances are, if you live in America, you might be living right next door to a millionaire and never even know it. So what separates these real millionaires from the pretenders? Stanley discovered 7 core traits. Let me walk you through them, and you'll notice none of them have to do with luck, inheritance, or being born rich. They live well below their means. Millionaires don't waste money on status symbols. They focus on value. Example, a millionaire might buy a Toyota Camry, not a brand new Mercedes. They budget and plan. They don't just earn money, they know exactly where it's going. Every dollar has a job, either to cover living costs, to invest, or to build assets. They value financial independence over social status. While others crave admiration, millionaires crave freedom. They'd rather have wealth than look wealthy. They choose the right occupation. Many millionaires are self-employed, business owners, contractors, farmers, or professionals who manage their money wisely. They raise disciplined children. They don't spoil their kids with money. They teach them hard work and independence. They are excellent investors. They invest steadily, often in conservative and long-term vehicles like index funds, real estate, and retirement accounts. They have supportive spouses. Wealth building is a team game. Many millionaires credit their financial discipline to their partners. These aren't secrets. They're habits, which means anyone can apply them. One of the most fascinating tools in the book is what Stanley calls the wealth equation. It's simple. Expected net worth equals age times pre-tax income divided by 10. Here's how it works. If you're 40 years old, earning $100,000 a year, your expected net worth should be 40 times open parenthesis 100,000 divided by 10 close parenthesis equals $400,000. If you have more than that, you're a prodigious accumulator of wealth, PW. If you have less, you're an under-accumulator of wealth, UAW. This formula doesn't just measure wealth. It measures how disciplined you are with money. And it reveals the truth. Backhand index pointing right, high income doesn't guarantee wealth. But discipline does. When Stanley looked at how millionaires actually spent money, the results were shocking. Most buy cars that are at least 5 to 10 years old. They rarely buy luxury watches or designer brands. Their houses? Modest. Not mansions. They live by a rule. Backhand index pointing right, wealth is what you don't see. That Rolex on someone's wrist? That's not wealth. That's spending. That luxury car in the driveway? Not wealth. That's debt in disguise. Real wealth is invisible. It's sitting in index funds, real estate, bonds, and savings accounts. Another surprising discovery. Most millionaires aren't doctors or lawyers. They're small business owners, contractors, dry cleaners, farmers, shop owners. Because they own their time. They control their income. And over decades, they reinvest their profits instead of spending it all. Now, that doesn't mean you have to quit your job to become wealthy. But it does mean you should think like a business owner. Backhand index pointing right, spend less, save more, invest smartly, and focus on long-term independence. One of the most powerful lessons in the book isn't about making money at all. It's about raising kids. Stanley discovered something called economic outpatient care. This is when wealthy parents give too much money to their kids. And guess what? It usually ruins them. Children who constantly receive financial help don't learn how to manage money. They develop entitlement, dependency, and bad spending habits. The millionaires next door avoid this. They raise children with discipline. They teach them independence. They'd rather pass down financial wisdom than just hand over cash. Because the goal isn't just to build wealth for yourself. It's to build a family culture of financial responsibility. So, what can we learn from the Millionaire Next Door? Here are the big takeaways. Stop trying to look rich. Focus on being rich. Track your money. Budget. Plan. Avoid debt, especially consumer debt. Live below your means. Invest early, invest often, and think long-term. Teach your kids independence. Remember, true wealth equals freedom plus security plus peace of mind. In short, backhand index pointing right, spend less than you earn. Backhand index pointing right, invest the difference. Backhand index pointing right, do it consistently for years. That's the real millionaire formula. So, the next time you see a flashy car on the street, ask yourself, is that person really wealthy? Or are they just trying to look wealthy? Because the true millionaires, they don't need to prove anything. They're living next door. Quietly. Peacefully. Financially free. The question is, will you follow the path of consumption or the path of financial independence? If this video inspired you, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And tell me in the comments, backhand index pointing right, which lesson from the Millionaire Next Door hit you the hardest?